Warning: tube amplifiers have lethal voltages inside them. Please do not attempt to build, test, or repair these without understanding and following all safety protocols. Hey y'all! Well, I wanted to talk a little more about this latest 2A3 amp I finished up for a customer, and he was asking for a deluxe version of my 2A3 amp without going to like a wood chassis. He's like, I want the, deluxeness to be about the sound, not as much the appearance. And I still think it looks nice. I mean, it's typical Skunky Designs amp. It's got my little signature tube rings, and he wants to put the badge on. He's not sure where he wants to put it. And anyway, but it turned out really nice. And a couple of things, though, that we did different is I was planning on offering this with the ISO FC20 output transformer. And he was like, I want to go one step up. Let's go with the FC20, which is a little bigger output transformer than the FC12s. And I honestly think with a 5-6 watt, basically a 5 watt amp, that the FC12s are probably fine. They're what I use as an upgrade on my EL34. He was kind of not cost is no object, because first he said that, it's like, well, maybe not really cost is no object, but it's like, yeah, because you could spend $10,000 on a pair of silver wire output transformers, but we're not doing that. So anyway, I'm sitting here looking, there's dolly hair all over this thing. It's freaking all over the house. Anyway, so some things I learned about this, though. The first 2A3 I built, I had some Haboor 3.2K 20 watt output transformers. And I was like, yeah, what am I going to do with these things? They don't have ultralinear taps. And then I thought, man, these would be great for a 2A3 amp. They're a little higher impedance than what a lot of 2A3 amps call for, or what the tube data sheet calls for. But in my experience, going a little higher on the impedance doesn't cost a lot of power, but can really reduce the amount of distortion. And so, as we saw, they worked out really good. They tested great. They sound great. A couple of viewers have already built the amp and sent me emails with pictures and saying, man, this thing sounds fantastic. So I know the circuit's good. And it's basically that JE Labs SRPP 6SL7 driving 2A3's circuit. Although I did tweak it a little bit. We skunkified it just a breath. And we updated it to use more B+ and higher current across the tube that almost all the modern 2A3 tubes can handle. So instead of a 3.5 watt, it's a 5 watt amp. So, kind of get sidetracked here. One of the things that he had initially asked about is, can we use some silver wire in the amp? And it just so happens that these folks at Advanced Silver Technologies, send the link below, had sent me an email and asked me if I was interested in demoing some of their wire and doing like a review of it. And so part of this video is going to be a review of their wire and what I think it added to the amp. And then I also got some of this military spec silver plated shielded wire off eBay, and I'll put his store below where you can get, he sells this stuff in like 25-foot hanks for fairly reasonable cost for what it is. And I've got some 24 gauge and some 20 gauge, which should cover just about any kind of shielded use. And 24 gauge should be fine for signal stuff, but he has some 20 gauge, so I said, hey, let me get some of that too. Anyway, so first let's talk about the output transformer impedance, because one of the things about these universal Tango transformers is they allow you to run it as either 2.5K, 3.5K, or 5K with the same transformer on. It's kind of weird how they do it. You use the same primary connections to the output tube, but you connect the speakers to different connections on the transformer, which I guess are different taps on the secondary. Anyway, because it's at the end of the day, it's about the turns ratio. And they feel, I mean, these guys are, the bomb on making transformers. They feel comfortable doing them like that. I think the Hashimoto's have the output taps are fixed, and then you use different primary taps. Different courses for horses, I guess. Anyway, we have the opportunity here to try different impedances with a 2A3 at this operating point. And I want to make that very clear. I'm not using the 250 volts on the plate with, a 880 or 1K resistor on the cathode and running the tube at like 13 watts or something that was the original RCA design point. We're running these at around 20 to 21 watts across the tube because most of these modern tubes are designed from anywhere from 22 to 28 watts dissipation, and we should take advantage of it to get the extra power. And so instead of having a 3 or 3.5 watt amp, we got a 5 watt amp, which is usable for a lot more types of speakers than those 100 dB efficient horn type speakers that you have to have with a super low powered amp. So one of the things I learned was the data sheet isn't always the Bible. If you look at a 2A3 data sheet, it tells you that the resistive load should be, or the load on the tube should be 2.5K. And when I connected this amp up, here's what the distortion versus power profile looks like at 2.5K. And then here's what it looks like at 3.5K. And you can see the 3.5K setup has way lower harmonic distortion, and it only makes just a tiny, not even a half a watt less power. And you get just this totally cleaner sound. And then I also went and listened to them because the high distortion at 2.5K was almost all second order harmonic distortion. And I just wanted to make sure that, okay, maybe that's the magic with a 2A3 tube, is it's got, all this second order harmonic distortion that is like the secret sauce. And yeah, it's not. It didn't sound good at all to me. The 3.5K setting was way cleaner, way more musical, just sounded like an amp I think should sound. And so that's a point that I want to make in this video, is that the data sheet for a tube is a guideline. And like even the plate curves, not every tube is what they call a bogey tube. Every tube's a little different. And sometimes the plate curves are really close, and sometimes they're off a bit. And you have to just accept that it's a guideline or a guide. It's not meant to be a Bible of like, you have to do it like this. And the other thing that I've learned from experience is when you run more plate voltage on a tube, you need to run a higher impedance output transformer, just as a general rule. And as you lower the plate voltage on the output tube, then you need to lower the impedance on the output transformer. And that's just kind of a general rule. And in a future video, I'll go over this formula, or show you how this formula that Thermionic Labs shared with me about how to calculate output impedance without having to draw plate curves. It's kind of a universal formula where you put in some things like the voltage and how many watts and stuff, and it'll tell you really close what the impedance should be to work with that tube. But we'll do that in a future video. So the other thing that we did in this amp was I used this silver wire. We've got this stuff to use from the RCA jacks to the volume. Well, this one doesn't have volume control, so it's going from the RCA jack straight to the grids of the input tubes. And then we used this advanced silver technology wire in all the signal path. And I was trying to avoid just like every wire inside the amp being silver. So I tried to think about like where is it going to have the most impact. And so it's in the signal path, which is like the grid from the tag strip to the grid of the input tube, and then from the plate of the input tube over to the tag strip, and then there's like a coupling cap, and then from the coupling cap to the grid of the output tube we put some silver wire. And then we used, it came with two different gauges. They sent some probably about 22 gauge, and then they sent some that's closer to 18 gauge. And so then we used the 18 gauge to all the connections on the output transformer, to the plates of the tubes, to the speaker jacks, and all of that. In the future, I'm going to do more of an A/B testing on this thing, because I am comparing this amp to an amp that has different output transformers. But this amp does have a clarity that the other amp doesn't have. And when I look at the frequency response and all that, it looks very similar to the one with the Haber output transformers. And I'm honestly not sure if it's 100% just the output transformer or how much the silver wire has played into it. It can't hurt anything. And I figure that an amp that I'm spending the money to put really top shelf output transformers going forward, I'm going to be building using silver wire in the signal path, just to ensure that we're not compromising anything. And another time in the future, when I've got some free time, if I ever do, is do an amp with copper on one side, silver on the other, and do a little A/B testing. But for now, the customer requested it. Felt like a good idea to do on this amp, so that's what we went with. So I'll put the link to AST below. Their products seem really high quality. It comes with, or they sent it with, their sized PTFE tubing, and they're claiming that the type of PTFE tubing also makes a difference. So I used their tubing with the wire, and it's no harder to work with than just my regular solid core wire. And it does feel like it's an upgrade to just using standard copper wire. So anyway, that's kind of it for this video, talking about this upscaled 2A3 amp. And again, I'm not sure that I'm going to be building more of these with these FC20s. This was kind of on a customer request because it's a pretty big price jump from FC12, and I'm not sure that it's a big sonic improvement. I don't know if it's worth the money, but customer requested it, so we gave him the upgrade that he was asking for. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this little shorter video that we covered a couple of topics. Again, links to advanced silver technology. Give them a shout out if you're looking for some silver wire. And it was interesting to me that the 3.5K tap sounded so much better than the 2.5. And I'm glad that I went with the 3.2K Habers. I bought another couple of pairs of those for future amps. I'm glad I did that. Or sometimes it's the blind hog finding a nut, right? I just sometimes stumble across the right setup. But don't put 2.5K transformers with this build running at this operating point. it's not going to work good. So anyway, thanks to all you Patreon supporters, people that subscribe to the channel. If you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. It's a free button over there. Just click, right? And click like. Comment below what you think about, this kind of upscale build of this 2A3. And until the next video, have a nice day.